Have you ever wondered how to take criticism without getting defensive? Defensiveness is one of those things that comes so naturally, but there's some ways to overcome it. Why? Why would you want to learn how to handle criticism without being defensive? One good reason that I'll put out right at the front here. Defensiveness validates accusation. Think about what I'm saying. Defensiveness validates accusation. If someone's accusing you of something and you become all defensive, it validates the accusation. It tells them, oh yeah, you're onto something here. You've hit a soft spot here. You've got me, right? Even if you're not guilty, the defensiveness tends to give that feeling that you're guilty because you're trying to cover it up, all right? Yeah, why are you being so defensive? You must have something to hide. So the whole why behind this, I think, is important right up front. Defensiveness validates accusation. Now, let's look at a different piece of this because everyone has an opinion, right? I heard long ago that opinions are kind of like armpits. Everybody has them and they all stink. Well, does your opinion stink? Not necessarily, but there's a difference between facts and opinions. And really, the one that we're more familiar with is opinion, because everybody's got them. When someone criticizes you, what they're doing is expressing their opinion, not fact. If you take it as fact, then you might be more likely to be defensive. So let's start out by just reframing that in a way that allows us to see it less personally and realize that it is simply an opinion. Everybody has one, and we don't have to respond to that as if it's an attack. So in our own mind now, it's simply listening to someone's opinion instead of debating or disputing a particular fact or point of fact. Now, when someone shares their opinion with you, here's another insight that helps us to handle it in a way that we don't become defensive. Really, they're telling us more about them than they are telling us about ourselves. Their opinion is just that. It's their opinion. I had a buddy who used to say it this way. What other people think about you is none of your business. That's helpful. It's their opinion. It's their business. It's not about you. It's really more about them than it is about you. Do you see the defensiveness starting to melt away already? Okay, along these same lines, let's take a look at this concept. Feedback. Feedback is a word that means you're getting input back from something that you're interacting with. So in the case of criticism, what if you were to think of criticism as feedback rather than criticism or attacking? Well, you don't have to be defensive about feedback. It's simply information. Information about what? Information about that person's opinion. It may or may not be about you. At least not as much as you think it might be. So let's say that someone tells you, you're so sensitive, as if that's a bad thing. I think sensitivity might be a really great thing to have. But let's say that it's kind of said that way. Oh, you're being so sensitive. All right, feedback. Feedback. It's information. It's information about what? It's information about the person who's giving you the feedback. We could easily interpret it to mean my experience of you is that you are sensitive, okay? Or I experience you to be sensitive. Now I add the experience piece in there because really that's all they have. They have their own perceptions. They don't know you. They don't know you as well as you know you. They're not inside of you. They don't know what operates you. So they can't really say that you're sensitive as a fact. They're offering it as an opinion. My experience of you is that you're sensitive. Okay, as feedback, I can take that information in. Oh, that person experiences me to be sensitive. And now I get to think about it, right? I wonder what it is about me that has them experiencing me as sensitive. Okay, disclaimer, nobody thinks like this. I'm a psychologist, right? And so I'm getting into all of the metacognition and thinking about our thinking. I think it's helpful, though, for you to just pause and take a look at that for a minute. What if you were to process it more along those lines? Oh, I'm getting feedback that I'm sensitive. Think about it. What is it about me or my behavior that might have that person experiencing me as being sensitive? Okay, because maybe it doesn't fit inside of me. I don't think I'm sensitive the way they think I am. But instead of being defensive, simply taking it in as information, and I'm asking another question. At that point, I might come up with some pretty brilliant stuff, right? Like, oh, I get it. I reacted in this way to that circumstance, and that has them experiencing me as being sensitive. Even though in the back of my head I'm thinking I'm not really that sensitive. Okay, well, is that helpful information? Sure, potentially. It doesn't mean that I need to be defensive. It doesn't even mean that I need to change anything. It might simply inform me about what behaviors I have, how I'm showing up in this world that has people experiencing me in any particular way. So I use the word sensitive. What if they say, oh, you're such a jerk? Okay, I could get defensive about that, which means, yeah, I think you're right. Let me see if I can fight you on that point. No, I don't want to get defensive. Defensiveness validates accusation. So instead, I see it as feedback. Feedback is information. Information about who? Oh, it's more about them than it is about me. Okay, interesting. That person is experiencing me as being a jerk. What is it about me or my behavior that might have them experiencing me that way? Oh, yeah, I kind of cussed at them the other day. Okay, I can kind of see how they would come up with that. See, I'm not agreeing that I'm a jerk. I'm simply inventorying my own behavior, and that's useful. The information we get as feedback. So that may be the most important thing from this whole video. Criticism can be redefined as feedback. Feedback is simply information about the person giving the feedback. That triggers some helpful questions in our own mind so that we can check out how we're showing up. Don't be too quick to own it, because facts and opinions are not the same thing, even though they're very similar in appearance sometimes. 2 more quick ideas before we wrap up. What if they really intended to criticize you? It's not meant as feedback. Well, yeah, sometimes that's the case. I think you're still in a better, stronger position if you consider it as feedback, even if it's intended to cut you down. Still, the worst thing that you can do is defensiveness. And then here's another little piece. Say thank you. I know, weird, huh? Instead of getting defensive, remind yourself, practice this. Say thank you. For what? For the feedback. Feedback is valuable. It should always be considered, not necessarily consumed or inhaled, okay? But consider it, because it's valuable information that might inform you well as you move forward in your other relationships. So say thank you. And you might follow that up with something like, thank you for that feedback. I will certainly consider it. Right? They're not expecting that, and they're going to look at you kind of weird. But what kind of a powerful position does that put you in? You're in charge of this. You've got this. Thank you for your feedback. That's powerful. I love the way understanding these principles helps us to move forward on purpose. Honored to be on your team. I'll see you tomorrow.